everybody, and welcome to That Dog Training Show with Tanya Yarbrough, and that's me. And this is where we talk about the dogs we love and the stupid human behaviors we don't, also known as shubs. So, this week I just wanted to let you know that there is the Pack Leadership Seminar, Pack Leadership 101 Seminar at Echo Park in California. So if you're local, you might be able to squeeze in and get that one. It's a longest running, as far as I know of, one-woman show about dogs, because Cesar Millan doesn't count as a woman, usually, for 3 hours. Usually it's funny. Sometimes you'll cry. Sometimes you'll just feel better about yourself. Or maybe not, but you'll learn a lot. So anyway, it's this Sunday, 6 to 9 in Echo Park at Blue Collar Working Dog. Check out bluecollarworkingdog.com. And going on with the actual show, some of you saw on my Facebook page, That Dog Training Show with Tanya Yarbrough, I announced today that today's topic is don't text and walk. Yep, that's right. And that doesn't just apply to driving. And I'm not talking about all those lovely YouTube videos where you see people fall into fountains and such things. I'm talking about dog walking. Walking with your dog. Don't text and walk. Basically, it comes down to this. The dog walk needs your attention, not distraction. This is super, super important for a lot of reasons. Safety reasons, but mostly for your dog's sense of safety, so they feel secure. Now, I'm going to tell you a little story. I'm going to tell on myself about how I failed in this. And normally I should know better, and normally I do better, but on this day I did not. So I had 4 dogs to walk, only one of which was mine. The other 3 were slightly dog aggressive and not as well trained, but you know, when you get them all together in my company or somebody maybe like yourself who actually knows what they're doing, they'll behave themselves. Well, I got a phone call. I usually take my phone with me, but I generally don't answer it. Got a phone call because a friend of mine had her baby just came out of the hospital with, heart problems, blah, blah, blah. So I felt obligated to take the call, and she's stressed out, of course. And so I'm walking the dogs while I'm on the phone, and this was a really bad idea because within minutes of starting to talk on the phone, the dogs started acting out. And I was constantly having to correct them with a leash, etc., and of course it just escalated. Well, not only did I distract myself with the phone, but I also desperately needed to go to the bank, deposit money, blah, 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 blah. So, I'm multitasking like a crazy Los Angeles person, as usual. And I'm inside the bank, but just like in front of it's like the pre-lobby area where the ATM is. And so I've got the dogs in there, and there's this one woman who's already at the ATM machine, so I'm just waiting for them, talking on the phone. And this lady decides that she's going to bend over and say, hello, to Rambo. And if you all know Rambo is not so happy with the please bend over me and look like you're dominating me because I'm afraid of people. And that always makes me feel better. That's my dog. So he freaked out and he actually barked at her. I corrected him with a leash. Meanwhile, I'm still on the damn phone, right? She turns around and looks at me because he yelped, of course, because he was wound up. And I'm going to address that today as well. But, so she turns around to me, and of course, with the usual, decision that I was being abusive, I explained to her that he's afraid of people, and that was inappropriate, so I corrected her. So she says to me, you made him bark at me, which then caused me, not that I couldn't help it, but I let myself go there, and I started actually going into a tirade. What the F, blah, blah, blah. This is not my normal thing, but you realize I had spent 20 minutes distracted on the phone, correcting the dogs. Things were escalating, and of course, now I'm escalating with this stranger who's clearly an idiot. This is a shub's move, big time. And she's, addressing a dog that's barely holding himself together, and of course, blaming me for barking. I'm getting so tirade mad, and I'm talking loud on the phone that they actually closed the doors to the actual business, to the bank, because they didn't want to hear me cursing. So, I made an ass of myself. And in retrospect, the woman was partially right. I did make Rambo bark. Why? Why was she right? Well, here's why. She thought it was because I'm some evil woman, which sometimes I am, but not that moment. It was because I was distracted, which led my dogs, including my own, but also other people's dogs I was walking, feel insecure, which escalated to the point where my dog, at the moment of a more insecure situation, i.e. someone bending over and making googly eyes and high-pitched noises at my dog who's afraid of people, he lost it and barked. Because clearly I wasn't on duty. So in that sense, that snotty woman was right, unfortunately. So, this is where I want to talk about this. Don't text and walk your dog. Don't talk on the phone and walk your dog. And here's where I made the mistake, but I also see a lot of other people make this mistake. Maybe you do, but you're at home or you're in the car, so you don't have to raise your hand and out yourself right now. But here's the deal. When we talk about the nature of the walk for dogs, it's a reconnaissance mission. Reconnaissance. Which implies you don't make a big scene out of yourself. And you're collecting information. And it has to do with covering some ground. All of these things apply to dogs walking in a pack, whether a human being is involved or not. So, if you don't have the same attitude, you're not in connection with the actual walk with your dog. And your dog will know it. Okay? First of all, recon mission. That means somebody's in charge of this mission. It should be you. You should be in charge. But if you're talking on the phone, you're clearly not in charge. Now, what are you in charge of on the recon mission? 2 major categories. Protect the pack, right? Which includes not making a big scene out of yourself so that other people find out where you are and what you're doing. Or other dogs in the dog's world. So, the other part is to initiate the investigation of the environment. And why I say initiate is because you're the one supposed to be deciding what you're going to check out and what you're going to leave alone. It shouldn't be your dog deciding this. It should be you saying, yeah, I see that squirrel, but it's too skinny. We're going to move on and get on to the next one. Which leads me to this. Your dog thinks you're a dog. You're an odd-looking dog, but you're a dog. So they think that you perceive the world the way they do. They think that you smell everything as well as they do. That you hear as well as they do. That you care about the things that they care about. We don't. But we lie to our dogs for the rest of our life for their betterment. Here's the deal. They think you want to find the squirrels or the other dogs or the other territories. In reality, we really don't care. We just want them to not pee and poop in our house, and we want them to get a little exercise. That's actually the baseline for us, but that's very selfish. That's not how they see it. So, if this is a recon mission in their mind, and you're supposed to A, protect the pack, and B, initiate the investigation of the environment, if you are distracted, you are not capable of doing either one of those things. You're not paying attention to the environment. You're not paying attention to what you're supposedly smelling and what you're supposedly hearing, and you're not making any decisions based on what's in the environment. The dogs pick up about this very quickly. Why? They're built that way. It's about survival. If the leader's not paying attention to some rustling in the bushes, somebody might be in trouble. Either we lose food or we might get hurt. So, this is where it comes down to. If you're distracted on the phone or distracted talking to your friend, etc., they know this. They're going to start acting out. That's because they now have to be in charge of those 2 categories, protect the pack and initiate the investigation of the environment. So in the case of Rambo, he thought I wasn't on top of it or paying attention because clearly I was distracted for a while. And so he had to take his stance in the moment that someone leaned over in his space, made googly eyes and high-pitched noises. All right? So in that sense, I did make Rambo bark at her. But she deserved it. So anyway, the deal is that if you want your dog to feel safe in the environment, you have to be paying attention to what's going on in the environment, even though you don't really care about the squirrels. You have to pretend like you do. For instance, you need to address every time your dog is excited. It doesn't have to be negative or positive, but you need to address it either by verbally, or you tap the dog a little bit, just a little bump, like, hey, I gotcha, or you give a little leash correction to kind of snap them out of their excitement, just a little tiny tap, double tap to let them know, hey, I got it, even though you have no idea why they're excited. It could be a Maltese barking their head off on the 3rd floor, 2 apartments back. And you can't hear it, but they think you can. So, you don't address every little bit of excitement, the pieces of information, i.e. that your G.I. Joe or your G.I. Jane on this recon mission is trying to give you. Because you, the captain, are supposed to be paying attention to that and making decisions about it. So if you're not responding to their stimulation, their excitement, they know you're not on top of it. And now they know they have to take things into their own hands. There it is. So, if you're going to take a walk, you got to have the attitude of the dog, right? Now, for those of you who have dogs with dog aggression or fear of the environment, like my dog Rambo, he's fine with other dogs. He just thinks every leaf is going to crush him from every tree that might possibly fall on him. So, I have to let him know that I got this. I got the leaves. He's not going to get crushed. He's going to be fine. And if it does fall on him, it was exciting and good times, and we're going to have fun with it. So either way, whether it's anxiety out of fear and phobias or lack of socialization, etc., or you actually have the fear and anxiety has progressed to preemptive aggression on your dog's part, it will never ever get better if you keep talking to your friend, or you stop and talk to your neighbors, or you're sitting there on the phone texting or calling, blah 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 blah, because now you've reinforced with your dog that you are not on top of your shit and you are completely useless, and they have to take care of everything, and they're not equipped for that, and they're certainly in a bad state of mind to even actually try. So you cause your dog to act out, i.e., I made my dog Rambo bark at that lady, but she deserved it. So, when it comes to the world that you're in, when it comes on the walk, see, it's so easy for us to go out and we're just trying to get the utility done. Pee and poop outside, exercise, I gotta rush to work, I got stuff to do, oh yeah, I forgot to email this person, blah, 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 blah. So there's several things that you can do to kind of help yourself not go that direction and to change your mindset. And by the way, this is true for kids as well, like human kids, because I know some of you think your dogs are your kids, but I've never given birth to a dog before, so, or a child for that matter. But anyway, so the deal is that even children get this. Like my sister-in-law, who has several children, because they just have the constitution to do it, and that was their plan. But I think it took about the 4th child before she believed me and her, whoever else, that every time she was on the phone and her kids started screaming, it wasn't actually a tragedy. Because there's nothing wrong with them. Kids just start screaming when mom's distracted. Oh, she's on the phone. Oh my gosh, we're going to start getting in fights, and we're going to start screaming and yelling. We're going to go, Mommy, 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 what? Nothing. Mommy, 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 what? Nothing. I'm trying to talk to you, Tanya. Mommy, Mommy, Mommy. Kids do it too. Pain in the arse. Eventually they grow out of it if you do it right. But with dogs, what happens is they start getting more insecure. So it's instinct. The kids aren't doing it on purpose. It's just instinct. Little babies just pick up on that when they're not getting attention from mom, when mom's being distracted. So that's why you like hold a baby and you tap it or you massage it, making the baby, reassure the baby that you're still paying attention to it while you talk to your friend. Just a little tip there. Now,